Hello everybody, I have got a quick video on what am I going to do this one? I'm going to go with Berethor. We are playing Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, and I want to do some videos here specifically on each different character and talk a little bit about what they're good at, what their goals are, or what we want to do with them, and yeah, we'll just start with Berethor here. So, I'm about midway through the game, and I've done all my leveling and all of the skills that I've got. So, yeah, I think I'm all capped out here. I can't take a look at my Lightcraft stuff, but Berethor, I build. Or I've built this time, and I think it's a good idea to build him with AP. So I pump all of his points into Spirit, or that's what I've done so far this game. The reason for that here is, I mean, obviously I like everybody to have a really good AP pool, but especially because of Berethor and what I specifically do with him. As far as like equipment goes, I'm not going to talk too much about that. I mean, mainly, like, yeah, I guess you can put the best weapon that you've got on him at any given time. I think that usually makes sense. There isn't a whole lot of, like, stat deviation between his weapons, so I don't really feel like it's that important to, keep, say, a weaker weapon just because it's got a bunch of spirit on it or something. I think generally, weapons are going to be or like having the best weapon on is going to be a good idea. Now, to be fair, though, with Berethor, I really don't use his sword much, and I don't use his swordcraft skills much. But Guardian Strike, basic attack. Orc Bane just does more damage to orcs. Shattering lowers the armor value of enemy. This is pretty decent early on. It gets to a point though where I stop kind of using that stuff. Counterattack is fine, especially if you've decided to build more of a physical oriented Berethor. Citadel Rage is a 2-strike, so that as you progress here, you're gonna usually do multi-strike attacks. Uruk-hai Bane, great for, I mean, obviously the Uruk-hai, they are I think the first time you fight those are in East Eminent Gullies, and then you'll kind of fight quite a few of them. Kind of I think going on from that point. Ecthelion Wrath will be a 3-strike. Defensive is nice because it can't be counterattacked. You're not doing multiple hits, but if you're worried about being countered, defensive is the strike that you'll want to use. Targeted is also another interesting one, so it completely ignores enemy armor. Now, it's questionable on whether or not you should just use Shattering Strike versus Targeted, because Shattering Strike will reduce that armor for all of the rest of your characters as well. And then Stunning Strike is amazing. It is a shame, though, that they put this so far down the tree. Now, you can kind of skip around and do like a Shattering Strike, Citadel Rage, Ecthelion, and like skip counterattack. Well, yeah. Skip counterattack, skip Uruk-hai, skip defensive, and then you'd be over here at Stunning Strike. And you could do that, and I think that actually that's the best way to go. Because, as you're kind of learning these sword skills, you don't have to complete both of them on each side of the tree. You can pick one, and then once you've completed that, then you can work on the next, like, I guess I would call it tier. So again, that's what I would do, and I think that makes sense. Like, I'd probably just do like Shattering, Citadel Rage, Ecthelion Wrath, and then go over to Stunning, because Stunning is amazing. Any attack that allows you to stun your enemies, generally they're a little bit slower, but it prevents that enemy from taking further actions. And then his final one is Gondor Rampage, which is amazing. 5-hit attack. So very, very good stuff. Now, again, I rarely use Berethor for his sword abilities, but it is nice to have them built up. I do think, though, that Berethor's main role is his leadership, and that's the tree that's better. It's just his leadership tree. So, Company Might, obviously, you do more damage for every attack. Company Valor is amazing. It increases your dexterity, constitution, and speed, which ups your accuracy, your HP, and melee defense. So Valor is one of the best skills for him. Standfast is amazing as well. Very early on, you'll start to run into enemies that stun, and you'll want to be using that. Fellowship Grace, also incredibly useful. Regenerates your AP each round. War Call is the first of his like call type abilities, and they're amazing because it allows. The only problem with these calls is that they're actually like slower skills. So, you know, you can do like 2 sword strike skills in the time that you can do 1 war call. But the great thing about this is it gives 2 allies an immediate free attack against a single target. Now, that makes it so that your allies can use skills. They can just use, and I think they're dependent on what level they are. I'm not sure exactly what makes them do, you know, the different attacks that they use. But again, I think it is due to their level. But they also have to have that skill unlocked as well. So War Call is incredibly powerful. It'll make like a Idril do like a Loudwater Fury. It'll make Alagast. I think one of his is it True Shot? I think that's one of his. So it can make your allies do incredibly powerful attacks, and they don't have to use any AP to do it. You use Berethor's AP to do it. And there's some really cool combos with that I'll show you here in a minute. But let's move on. Company Resistance. 25% less damage from Spirit or Spirit Enhanced decks. That is actually good for longer, drawn-out fights, like, you know, boss fights. I think this prevents some damage from, like, the Balrog. I'm not 100% sure on that one, though. I didn't try it on, like, because he uses that Pillar of Wrath skill. But also very good against the casters. There's tons of casters in the game that do really, really strong spirit attacks. All Retreat just lets you retreat from battles that you can retreat from. I actually don't think that this is a very useful skill, because if you're in a battle that you can even use this on, you could just have your characters retreat anyway. So not particularly useful. I would not learn that until the very end or the last skill. Company Rally, kind of the same deal. I really don't use the perfect mode very much, so Company Rally doesn't do that much for me, but you know, if you do like to use that a lot or spam it or whatever, you can use Company Rally to build that momentum back up. Royal Grace is amazing. It's a heal over time. It's not very powerful each round, but it does heal everybody that he uses it on every, you know, so often. So very useful. Shield of Courage grants immunity to fear and cures all negative effects. This skill is actually amazing. Fear immunity is very important for about 3/4 of the way through the game, I would say. So that is a great skill. Last Gasp is very interesting. I don't use this a whole lot because I don't find it to be that useful, but you can't drop below 1 HP unless you're at 1 health for a short time. So I don't find that to be particularly useful, but it is interesting. War Cry, this is Berethor's best cry skill. Gives 3 allies an immediate free attack against a single target. Now, this works differently depending on which battle you are in. Oftentimes, there are battles with, like, a guest character, and so Berethor will have your other 2 characters as well as that 3rd guest character use an attack. Now, this is amazing if you've got it already for the Balrog fight, because it will make Gandalf use his, I think it's like Judgment Bolt or something like that. But, you know, it basically lets Gandalf do an attack on Berethor's turn, obviously, and that includes your other 2 characters as well. This is probably, well, it's one of his best skills. Company Powered improves the probability that your group will cause critical hits for a short time. That's interesting, although I don't really use it that much because I don't do that a lot of like physical attacks with my party. So interesting, but I don't use it a whole lot. Captain's Inspire reduces the action point cost of all actions taken by your group for a short time. Also another interesting skill. I don't use it that much though because I build so much AP on all of my characters anyway. But this does. It's great for if you want to load up on actions that cost a ton of AP. So pretty interesting stuff. His passives, I generally like to do, I mean, obviously, so you get passives every time you level, so, you can't do anything about his first two. Rising Valor, I don't take. I take that, like, later, towards the end of the game. I do Gondorian and Evade probably first. Challenge of Gondor, I don't taunt that much, so I don't find this one particularly useful either. Technically, it looks like I'm going to be learning that last. Increased armor is useful. Immune to fear is amazing. That is key for later on, because he can not only be automatically immune to fear himself, but then he's got that that one ability that he can use to make everybody else immune to fear as well. Citadel Evasion, good skill, but again, I don't take that over immune to fear for this tier. And then double attack and Ecthelion Might. I think double attack is great. I don't use it that much, but it is great. You can do like a double attack, and then I think you can like do like 2 war calls back to back, which is it's nuts. So we will use that in a little bit here. But as far as like the Lightcraft, Shadowcraft, and then the craft items, I actually usually build the Lightcraft and Shadowcraft skills on all of my characters. But let's get into a battle here, and we'll just showcase some of what makes Berethor so good. Of course, he's going to get silenced right off the bat. How awesome is that? It's not awesome is the answer. So let's get him fixed up, and then we'll actually do some fun attacks here, or some fun skills, and show you some cool combos. Yeah, of course he'd get his turn next. So I'm actually going to skip him so that I can get to Idril and have her cleanse him. So, all right, so Cleanse Shadow. I think that Berethor and Idril together are an absolutely amazing combo. And I'll show you here in a second why. But let's do, all right, let's just 2 extra actions in his turn. So he'll be able to use, not everybody's like double attack. Like everybody's got, or, I think generally people have, they're called different, or they're different versions of whatever Berethor's, Berethor's is just called double attack. So anyways, let's use that. It's going to give him 2, he's going to be able to take 2 actions. Now, it actually looks like it blocks his Lightcraft and Shadowcraft, so just make sure that you keep that in mind. I'm going to use 2. I'm going to use 2 leaderships. Now, normally, what it would actually be better to do like a Valor, to start off your fight, but I'm just going to go for it here and do a couple of war cries back to back, and just show you like what he can do. So right now, it looks like Elagast is still using Draining Shot. He'll use some different stuff later, but here Idril is using Loudwater Fury already. And then, of course, Berethor himself is using Gondor Rampage. Now, and I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that was a ton of damage. And so, because I use double attack, I can just go right into Leadership again, use Warcry again. We're going to use it on the guy that's almost dead already. So Elagast will start off with a Draining Shot, and then we will go right into Idril's Loudwater Fury. That was kind of overkill there, and then we'll do another Rampage to finish that off. Now, the reason why Berethor and Idril work together so well is now she can do, we'll do Valorious Haste. Now, if you take a look here, like the battle order on the right-hand side there, it actually looks like Berethor is going to get another turn right after. And that's because that one Uruk already took its turn. And on top of that, Berethor is hasted right now. Normally, after using double attack and 2 war calls like that, he would be way down on the turn list. But because he's hasted, and because that one Uruk is sleeping, and the other one just took a turn, he's up pretty soon. But generally, what you would want to do here is use like why I think these 2 make such a good combo is that now I can use Valorious Haste. Target party member takes the next action. So boom, I can go right back to Berethor and do the same thing. And I'm going to double attack again. and then I am going to do 2 more war cries. So that, I mean, it's amazing. I am going to take a look here at, wow, Elagast is not doing much at all for damage, which is kind of funny. But I'll probably do 1 more fight here just so that we can take a look at what he can do with his, well, I guess kind of technically everybody can use, you know, Lightcraft and Shadowcraft, but I'll just talk a little bit about like why those are good on him. Again, I think that generally speaking, I do like having Shadowcraft and Lightcraft on everybody, but for Berethor specifically, and the way I like to build him, because again, I like to go heavy spirit, and I don't really care that much about his physical attacks. It makes it so that he can do some really respectable damage. Let's do, we'll do a sleep arrow, even though that's not going to put everybody to sleep. And I'm going to skip. No, let's just take this guy out. Sorry, really quick here. Loud water. Splash. Oh, it didn't even kill him. Okay, well. Alright, so Berethor is going to have to do some work here. With Lightcraft, so Berethor is actually a really great, especially building him Spirit, which, by the way, I recommend almost everybody build Spirit. It's just super overpowered in this game because there's an Elf Stone, which I'll have to actually take a look here. I'll bring that up. But it increases the damage of all Spirit attacks, so it's amazing. And kind of one of the reasons why that's so good too is that, let's just say that you wanted to build more like physical on Berethor, like a physical damage kind of setup. You have to kind of split your stats between like strength and dexterity because you need to be able to connect. And if your dexterity is not good, you're going to be missing all the time, and that's obviously a huge problem. Magic does not miss, so and you only have to build Spirit if you want to up your damage with Spirit attacks. So that's another reason why I think that that this is the best build for Berethor. Now, as with everybody, so this is obviously the Lightcraft. Everybody gets these skills if you decide to build this way. The sleep in this version isn't that great because Elagast is better. He can basically, when he puts something to sleep, it's permanent, or it'll sleep permanently. Suffocate Evil is great. Obviously, immobilizes an enemy and does damage over time. I don't know if this will land on that guy. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. And then Blinding Light is just a direct damage. Suffocate Evil is cool though because it immobilizes as well, and it's a dot, so a really cool skill. Haste of the Elves isn't that good because Idriel's version is better. When Idriel hastes anybody, it's more effective than when someone else uses a haste skill. So Aura of Life is interesting. I find it's more useful for like boss battles where you expect to be taking a lot of damage. This is also great for somebody like Morwen who doesn't have that much health to begin with. So bumping up her health pool is nice. I don't know if this stacks with, there's an item, I can't remember if it's mushrooms or if it is, oh, let's see here. He's able to make them. No, it's symbol mine petals. I don't know if this stacks though. I guess I can, I can. I'd probably try it out. Anyways, not that important because I don't generally use those. So that's it for Lightcraft. As always, though, in Drain Spirit, I don't know why I didn't think about it. Drain Spirit is amazing. So, he can restore AP over time with Fellowship Grace, but Lightcraft's Drain Spirit ability is way better. I mean, it's 7 AP for him. Normally it would be 10, but since I'm in perfect mode, his AP costs are reduced. Shadowcraft. All right, so Dispel, generally I don't use this a whole lot. It's a good skill, but I don't use it that much just because it's rare that I find that I need to take or strip buffs off of enemies. Whip of the Master, again, this is another super situational skill where if you get slowed, I guess, fine, use it. Silence is interesting. You can usually tell very, very easy if an enemy is going to be using any sort of casting, or it's going to be doing any casting on you. So you can point those out and stop them. It's actually a great skill. Crippling is amazing as well. This is just like Crippling Arrow, or I'm trying to think of Hadhod's got like a Crippling Strike. Basically, it delays their turn. It's a great ability. Drain Health, same amazing skill. Drains health, gives it to you. Incredibly useful for everybody. Black Speech is awesome. It's a multi-target spirit attack. Now, Wheel of Fire is actually really good too. This does it's a fire attack, and then it also is a damage over time. Generally, if I have to choose between the two, I use Wheel of Fire because it's got the damage over time component, but Black Speech is amazing as well. And then Fear. Absolutely amazing skill. One of the most broken skills in the game. And one of the reasons why is because when you fear something, and a lot of enemies are vulnerable, or it's easy to land fear on enemies a lot. And the great thing about fear is that if an enemy is feared, they cannot dodge. And that can really help you out if any of your characters have low dexterity, or are just, you know, or against a foe that dodges more frequently. A lot of the archers seem to have very high like evasion, so it's great for fighting them. I think that is about it for Berethor. Again, I've already touched on this, but being in perfect mode reduces his AP cost. It doesn't actually. It might do double attack too. Yeah, I think that's why his double attack is only 150, because I think that's normally 200. But again, I don't build into these sword skills. Probably the biggest reason why, though, is because Stunning Strike is down so far. Stunning Strike is one of his most one of his better sword strikes, but because of the stun aspect to it. But it's so far down that it stinks. If that would have been way higher, it would have been a lot better. But it is what it is. And again, I think like War Cry is just amazing. That skill is so good. But that is, I think, it. That is, yeah, that's about it for Berethor. So, stay tuned. I think I'm going to do some more of these videos for all the rest of the characters. So, hopefully this was a good breakdown for Berethor. Again, I think that he works so amazingly well with Idril, and maybe they intended that, maybe they didn't. I'm not sure, but those two make an amazing pair. So, hope this guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.